Hey, welcome to the BenAF podcast. I'm your host, BenAF. And today we've got a very odd episode because I'm going to try to be a music critic. That's weird. Well, I guess I'm not really trying to be a music critic this time. I'm trying to explain why exactly. I, Whatever, I'm just explaining my rating system because this is something that I want to explore more deeply. And I really like talking about music. I really do. It's fun. I like talking about stuff. But you know, that how it be. So I've got notes written because I think it's better that I do it this way just because I'm prone to rambling and to talking about random stuff like right now. Like none of this really need to be said. You could probably skip this part. I might just have a timestamp in there for you to get to the part that's important. Because basically, I just need to tell you guys that I appreciate all the love and support. I really do. Thank you guys for sticking around. You're the best audience in the world. And F it, let's get right into it. So, first thing I want to note is that I'm a huge fan of music. I think that music has done a hell of a lot for me. It has gotten me through a lot of tough times, and if I had to bet, I think it's gotten you through some tough times too. Because that's what music does. It makes us all feel better. It makes us feel better, makes us think, it makes us question things. Music's awesome. I think it's one of the best attributes of humanity. I think it's one of the best things we've ever come up with. Because good lord, does music help all of us through a lot. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through a couple things. Like my favorite genres. I'm a big classic rock fan. Anything that comes close to rock, generally I will like it. I'm also a very big pop fan. Essentially, like my two favorite genres, and like with rock being like the heavy favorite, are like rock and pop. But I was fortunate enough to grow up with like a music agnostic, that being my dad, because my dad exposed me and my sister to tons of different music. I mean, like one time we'd be in his car and we'd be listening to like Bob Marley, and then the next time we'd be listening to Nirvana. Like my dad is just he's a fan of good music, no matter what the music is, and that transferred over to me especially, and to my sister too, because we don't have any loyalty to one type of music. We just learn to enjoy it all, and I think that's awesome, Dad. If you're listening to this, thank you, because that is something that I appreciate a lot. Growing up, just being like, huh, yeah, my dad did basically teach me to love all forms of music. It's awesome. So when I'm critiquing music, I like to put it into a 5-star system, and I should probably just tell you that any song that I give a star to, it's basically a recommendation to listen to it. Like because there's very like few songs that won't get a star for me. I think there's like one Beatles song that I saw. I was just like, what is this? I don't get it. So basically, like if I ever give like a song like a half star below, I'm saying don't. There's just no real need to listen to it. But yeah, like any song that gets a star rating from me, I'm implicitly like saying, go ahead and check it out. You know, like someone should listen to this. Is basically what I'm saying. But basically, the 5-star system isn't a rating of the music itself. Kind of, it's it's like a rating of the music, but it's also like the universality of the music. So let me explain. So the first 3 stars are based on certain criteria. Yeah, you get a star for being good, innovative, or memorable. So yeah, that's pretty much the criteria that I've found for being a good song. I think any song that meets one of those criteria is worth listening to. You know, so if there's a song that sounds like ass, but at least it's trying to do something, I'll probably like listening to it. Actually, I won't even like listening to it, but I'll recommend listening to it just because it's like, wow, like that may not be my type of music, but I did gain something from it because at least now I know that that exists. I'm looking at you, Revolution 9. I don't know why you exist in the Beatles catalog. I don't understand you, but I think you deserve to exist. That's basically like what this is. It's like if anything scores like a half star below, I'm just like, I don't even think this song should exist. This didn't help anyone out. I don't understand why it exists. But yeah, like the first 3 stars are set on those criteria. And then the fourth star is based on kind of the legacy of the song. So the fourth star, if a song gets a 4 star, it's basically a genre staple. It's a really good song in that particular genre. And I think that that helps kind of get rid of bias towards the song, because I think there are plenty of 4 star songs that I don't like. And if a song scores up to a 4 star, that basically means if you're into this genre, I'm recommending it to you. And when I said like the rating is based on universality, that's really for the fifth star, which is basically the fifth star is how universal a song is, and does it rise above genre. And so to kind of help explain it, I've gone through a decent amount of famous songs, and I'm gonna tell you my rating on them. So the only song that I know for sure is definitely a 5 star is "Thriller" by Michael Jackson. Let me explain it. I don't think there's a single person that I know that has ears and isn't insane that doesn't like Thriller. I just want you to name the person, and I'm not talking about people being like, "Oh, this song's on again," because that's kind of a problem, is that Thriller gets overplayed. But I think it's one of the best songs that's ever existed, in particular because of how universal it is. Where it's just like, I think you could be a big country fan, you'd still be like, Thriller's a damn good song. And like this rating system does kind of have like a bias towards pop music, because pop music is generally liked by everyone. It just has pleasing sounds to everyone. And also I should mention that this is really for Western style music, because I just don't know that much about other styles of music. Like in other countries, like they just have completely different ways of listening to music. And so this really isn't for them. This isn't like a world system. This is just for people who are kind of used to that Western style of music. But yeah, Thriller is the only song that I can basically guarantee is a 5 star. I know that it is. Another really important song is "Stairway to Heaven," which I have given a 4.5 star to. And whenever I give a half star to a song, it's basically when I wanted to move it up to 5 stars, but I talk to people and they're like, I don't know if this rises above. Like basically the half star is pretty much for when I can't justify it going to the next level. Like I can't objectively justify it, but I still think it deserves to be mentioned. Because to me, any song that's a 4.5 star or above, like basically if we had to make a vault of all the important music, all the 4.5 stars are going in. Like guaranteed, they're all going in. And "Stairway to Heaven" is a song that rises to a 4.5 star. Like it's definitely one of the best rock songs ever, but my mom doesn't really like it. And I kind of use my mom to judge whether a rock song is universal or not, because she's just not really into rock music. And there are certain rock songs that she does really like, but "Stairway to Heaven" really isn't one of them. And I know that "Stairway to Heaven" means a lot to me and to a lot of different people, but I think it's a 4.5 star song. And again, like a 4.5 star song is still, it needs to be in the pantheon of music. It's in the Music Hall of Fame. So another song that I have on here to kind of show how my ratings work is "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." That is a 2 star song at best. I do not like that song. I think it's, I don't know. I don't actually, I shouldn't say I don't like the song. I think it's really overplayed, and I think it doesn't deserve the position that it's been put in. Like, cause it just seems like any montage of the '80s has that song playing, and I'm just like, this isn't an actually good song. Like, I gave it a 2 star because I think I don't know, I think it sounds good, and I think it's memorable, but I don't think it's innovative at all, and I don't think it deserves to be in the position that it is. And that's something else that I should explain, is that if you don't rise to 3 stars, then I don't give you anything above a 3 star. So if you're 2.5 star, sorry, like you don't get to be in the pantheon of music. You just don't. This is one of those songs where it's like, it's really famous, but I don't think it's justified, because I'm just like, it just isn't that good of a song. And I think kind of everyone kind of agrees with me. Because I think anyone who's listened to it is just like, yeah, that's iconic, but man, is it annoying. And here's a more recent song, Billie Eilish's Bad Guy, because I just listened to her album and I went ahead and decided to score it. And the song that I gave the highest rating to was Bad Guy with 3.5 stars. Because I think it's a really freaking good song. I like it a lot. And I think maybe like I'll release the ratings for the rest of the song later at some point, but I really enjoy her music. It's really good. I think that she had a really good debut, and I'm excited to see where she goes from here. So yeah, like I'm just really excited to see where she goes from there. Here's a Beatles song. I've got Hello Goodbye, which is at least a 4.5 star. I'm thinking about giving it a 5 star because it's a song that I think all rock music lovers love. And then my mom was like also like jamming along to it. And I was like, yes! I was like, that's got to be a 5 star then, because my mom really likes the song. She's just not generally into rock music, but that's something that I think is important about the Beatles, is that they generally tried to push like more into pop than they did like sticking to rock, which I'll explain in my episode where I do the Beatles versus Led Zeppelin, because I think that they are two sides of the rock coin, and I'll get more into discussing it when I do that episode. But yeah. So those are kind of like my ratings of the songs. I'm gonna go through some more songs. I pulled the top 10 songs from the 500 best songs ever by the Rolling Stones list, or not by the Rolling Stones, but the Rolling Stone magazine released their top 500 songs, and I went through the top 10, and I knew 8 of them already, but then 2 of them I had to listen to, and I gave my rating. So here they are. Number 1, Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone. I gave it 4.5 stars because I love that song. It doesn't feel like a 6.5 minute song. I think it should be universal. I don't know how it's not a universal song, but my mom does not like it. And so I had to give it a 4.5 star. Still in the pantheon of music. I still advise anyone who has ears to listen to it and to hear its message, but some people just aren't into it. And I think that's what keeps it from being a 5 star song, is that with Thriller, like, I don't think there's any way to justify not liking Thriller, but with Like a Rolling Stone, I think you could be like, it's freaking 6 minutes, man. Like, what the hell? And to me, like, it doesn't feel like 6 minutes. It feels like a 2 minute song. And I think that's a really good sign for a good song. But yeah, some people don't like it. I don't know. Number 2, I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. This might be a controversial rating, but I give it 4 stars because I don't think anyone who doesn't like rock music really enjoys this song. It's a little too rock heavy, and like it's a little too jangly. I think it's a really great song. I love listening to it, but I can see how someone who's not into rock doesn't like the song. Number 3, Imagine. I'm kind of bouncing between 4.5 stars and 5 stars because, again, I think this should be a 5 star song, but I haven't talked to anyone about it. So at least for now, it's at least a 4.5 star song. But Imagine by John Lennon is clearly one of the greatest songs ever, but it might be like a Rolling Stone, where it's like it's just not universal enough. But does it still deserve to be in the pantheon of music? Hell yeah. Number 4, What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. I'm bouncing between a 4 and a 4.5 star. Actually, no, I'm not bouncing between it. I definitely am guaranteeing that's a 4.5 star song. I don't know if it rises to the level of 5, but it still deserves to be in the pantheon of music. It's awesome. It's politically aware. It's just a great sounding song if you don't care about the lyrics. And really, anyone who doesn't like it, I'm just like, man, like you got something wrong with you. Number 5, Respect by Aretha Franklin. This is a 5 star song. If there's anyone who doesn't like R-E-S-P-C-T, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. You might not be a person. You might be a reptilian disguised as a person. Maybe that's the test. We play Respect. And if someone doesn't like the song Respect, then they're clearly a reptilian disguised as a person. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know if you guys remember those recycling commercials that would come on like late at night. They would play Respect, but that stuck with me because I love the song Respect, and those were very weird commercials. I want to see if I can look them up. If I remember to look them up, I might leave a link in the description because those were really fun songs. They were, and those were really fun commercials because it'd just be like a newspaper just kind of walking around being like, I need to be in the recycling bin. It's like, what is this? I'm sorry, I'm reminiscing about something that I haven't thought about in at least like 5 years. So, number six, Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. I think this is definitely a 4.5 star song. Like, see, like, I think the Rolling Stone got like a really good top 10 list, clearly. But Good Vibrations is one of my favorite songs ever. I love it. I'm thinking of I mean, whatever. Listen to the song. It's freaking good. I don't know if it's universal or not. I gotta consult with me mom because my mom is not a rock fan, and if she likes the song, well then it's definitely a 5 star. I can tell you that. Number seven, Johnny Be Good, Chuck Berry. Give it a 4.5 star. Again, I don't know if it's universal, but it's definitely deserving of being a Pantheon spot. Number eight, Hey Jude. That's probably gonna be a 5 star song. Again, I need to consult with Mom AF, and I'm using Mom AF just because she is a pop fan and she's not really a big fan of rock. So if it crosses over to her, I know that it's a 5 star song. Like I can kind of use her as like the litmus test for if a song is deserving of going to 5 star. And I think she's a fan of Hey Jude because that's what I did with Hello Goodbye. Is that again my mom was tapping her foot along and jamming along with it, and I was like, yep, it's a 5 star. Number nine, Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit. 4.5 star song. I think for some people, they don't really like it, but I think there's a reason why it's a song that basically defined a generation. What's really interesting about Nirvana is that, like, it was such a culture shift when they became number one because it's so weird to think about, but I think it was in 1991 when Nevermind comes out, the album. And it took the number one spot away from Michael Jackson's Bad, which is clearly a shift in how music was, because it's just like, oh, like, they're number one? That's weird. There's a lot of there's literally a song in that album referencing, like, I don't know if, yeah, like, Holding a Girl Captive, and that was the number one album in the country. It's very weird. I think it represents a shift in music. I think it's why the 90s is kind of so fondly remembered, and I'll talk about it more in a Nirvana episode, because definitely got to cover Nirvana. Definitely. I love them. So, yeah, and then number 10, we have What I Say by Ray Charles. I think it's a 4 to a 4.5 star song. I think I'm leaning more towards the 4 star song because I don't think it goes above the genre that it's in, but it's a really good song. And if you're into R&B and stuff like that, definitely check it out. But I think if you're like a country fan, I don't know if you'd get it. I think that's the point, is that with 5 star songs, there should never be a, well, I don't get it. And with Like a Rolling Stone, I feel like there's people who don't get it. With, what else? Imagine, I think there's some people who just don't get it. But with Thriller, I think everyone gets it immediately once they listen to it, that this is a game changer. This is why Michael Jackson is one of the 5 most important artists that's ever lived. And it's a real shame that, there's a theory by one of my influences, Bill Simmons, that if Michael Jackson had died in like 91, he would be remembered as like the greatest artist ever. But he basically spent the rest of the decade ruining his own legacy. And by the time that I was born in 2000, I literally just knew him as a pariah. Like he just killed his own legacy, and it's just disturbing, all the stuff that comes out, and it's really a shame because I would hate for his music to be forgotten with how great it is. But that's another episode I want to do, is divorcing the art from the artist, which I'm able to do, but I completely understand if someone else isn't able to do it. I get it, because even I like kind of get weirded out listening to his music sometimes, just with all the allegations and all the definite evidence that he was doing some very disgusting stuff. But that's it. That's the end of the ratings episode. That's me explaining, so I don't have to explain in the other music episodes. I'll probably have a link in all those episodes to this one, just to make sure that people understand what this rating system is. But I really appreciate listening, I really appreciate if you listen this far. Thank you. You guys are the greatest fans in the world. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.